Hello everyone, welcome to Khan Studio. Today's clip is a recap of the Equalizer 3. If you haven't seen the earlier ones, click the top right. This story follows a legendary hitman seeking peace in Italy, but local mafia won't let him. Before we start, please give us a like and share to support us. Let's dive into how thrilling the movie is. The story begins on an island in Sicily, Italy. Lorenzo Vittel, a mafia boss, arrives at his vineyard after hearing some bad news from his men. Upon arrival, he tells the young boy accompanying him to wait in the car. Walking in, Lorenzo finds corpses scattered everywhere his men slaughtered. A surviving henchman leads Lorenzo to a secret underground room, where he's shocked to find the assassin Robert McCall, the leading actor, sitting calmly, guarded by two armed men. Lorenzo demands to know why he's here. Robert replies in a stern voice, "You took something that wasn't yours." "I'm here to take it back." The mafia boss admits Robert's skill to track him down, but says it won't be enough to survive. Robert starts a timer and says, 9 seconds. That's all you get. Choose your fate. Before Lorenzo could answer, Robert strikes from the left side, grabbing his arm, forcing him to fire at the right-hand guard and the other standing by Lorenzo. He twists the gun, turning the barrel against Lorenzo's own face. Using his powerful arm, he strikes hard, dropping them all instantly. A swift, precise, and brutal takedown, classic McCall. Only the boss remains. Recovering from shock, he tries grabbing a gun. Robert uses a guard's body as a shield, with no guards left. Lorenzo stands no chance against a master assassin. Their duel barely lasts a second. Lorenzo collapses to the ground, still barely breathing. He crawls away, dragging himself inch by inch. Pitying him, Robert finishes him with a headshot, thus ending the vineyard mafia boss in his own wine cellar. Robert retrieves a key from Lorenzo's corpse, aiming to return what was wrongfully taken. But as Robert leaves, he spots the boy from the car, holding him at gunpoint. He demands he stay still. The boy, however, keeps walking and unexpectedly shoots Robert in the back. Robert turns to face the kid, but lets him run away. Dizzy from the shot, the leading actor nearly dies, not from a mafia boss, but a grade schooler, attempting suicide with his own gun. He finds it's out of bullets. Maybe fate or death itself wants him alive. Wounded, Robert leaves Sicily. He soon passes out inside his car parked along the coast, where he's discovered by a local cop, Gio Benucci. Gio rushes him to Dr. Enzo Orizio, a respected town doctor. While removing the bullet, Enzo instructs Gio, if anyone asks, say he fell not shot after surgery. Enzo tells Robert that Gio saved his life and asks if Gio saved a good guy or a bad guy. Robert has no answer. Once feeling a little better, he asks where he is. Dr. Enzo simply replies, "Where you're meant to be." He cares for Robert and lets him recover at his home. One day, Robert strolls around and explores the charming town of Altamonte. At his CAF, he bumps into Gio again, this time with his daughter, Gabby. Gio shares that Dr. Enzo once saved him too. "Everyone here," he says, "is good-hearted." Gio also returns Robert's car keys, assuring he didn't touch anything inside. Later, Robert calls a CIA financial agent named Emma Collins. He reports suspicious activities at Cantina Ariana Vineyard in Sicily, importing wine barrels from Syria. Emma, skeptical, questions why a vineyard would need Syrian barrels. Robert smiles, knowing he called the right agent. He suggests she investigate and quickly hangs up. Emma wonders who this mysterious caller could be, someone who not only contacts the CIA but knows internal procedures. Emma checks the tape, finding enough evidence to open an official investigation. Meanwhile, Robert quietly returns to his daily life. Robert puts away his beloved stopwatch. Fans know he's always timed everything from fights to missions, but now, it feels like he truly wants to leave that life behind. The film hints that Robert seeks a fresh start, free from violence and bloodshed. As days pass, Robert blends into the town. People greet him warmly. He often chats with Amina, a friendly waitress at his regular sier. While wandering through the market, Robert witnesses a thug named Marco Quaranta bullying a fish vendor named Angelo, forcing him into an ice tub, demanding extortion money. Marco storms out, shouting he'll return next week for payment. Robert, standing nearby, struggles internally. Should he intervene or stay silent like an ordinary tourist? He gazes at the church cross on the hill. Then locks eyes with the gangsters, both sides eyeing each other up. Meanwhile, the Quaranta gang rides motorcycles through Naples, flaunting their dominance. Marco later meets his older brother at a shady building. Vincent Quaranta, a mafia boss from the powerful Camorra crime syndicate, wants to turn this coastal town into a luxury hotel. He approaches property owners, but they refuse to sell. Frustrated, Vincent heads downstairs, where Marco, his younger brother, asks when he'll get a real job instead of shaking down locals. Suddenly, screams erupt. A wheelchair-bound elder is hanged and thrown from above. That elderly man was a relative of the building's owner. This brutal display was Vincent's way of terrorizing the town's standard mafia tactics. Instill fear first, then take over. Before leaving, Vincent orders his men to leave the body hanging for all to see. Meanwhile, Robert stops by the fish market. When Angelo, the vendor, learns he's a friend of Dr. Enzo's, he insists on giving him fish for free. Cut to Emma Collins and CIA agents investigating the vineyard Robert mentioned, the site of the earlier massacre. Inside, they find millions in cash and a huge stash of drugs. Collins asked about surveillance footage, but a technician reports all cameras went offline simultaneously. They find only one unknown fingerprint. Collins concludes the vineyard was a front for smuggling drugs into Sicily. From there, the drugs would be repackaged and moved into mainland Europe. Collins questions the massive cash stockpiles they found. Her partner suggests possible links to money laundering or cybercrime. Before leaving, Frank asks how she got tipped off. Collins says, a phone call, no name given. Meanwhile, Robert talks privately with Dr. Enzo. Robert asks why Enzo helped him without alerting authorities. Enzo reminds him of the earlier question, are you good or bad? Robert admits, I don't know. Enzo replies warmly, only a good man would say that. Meaning Enzo truly believes Robert is a good man. That's why he saved him. Meanwhile, with the Quaranta brothers, Vincent hatches a new plan. He wants to build a luxury hotel, resort and casino in Altamonte. To do that, they must claim the coastline. It must become theirs. Vincent instructs Marco to stir up trouble, intimidating locals until they abandon their homes. Meanwhile, Robert, fully recovered, packs his bags to leave, but trouble brews. Marco begins terrorizing the town. He torches Angelo's fish shop. Robert notices from across the street. He sees the biker gang proudly admiring their crime. The leading actor visits the Hilltop Church, seeking peace and reflection. He appears torn. Should he act or let it go? Should he hang up his gun for good? or continue being a vigilante. Scene cuts. Robert helps clean up Angelo's burnt fish shop. Meanwhile, Gio, the young cop, checks street cameras. They capture a suspicious van. Someone sneaks into the shop beforehand. Gio alerts Central Police to track the van's owner. Back in town, Robert grows more attached to the locals, especially Amina, the CF waitress. She invites him for a nighttime market stroll. Maybe she's why he's thinking of staying. One morning, at his favorite CAF, Robert spots Emma Collins at another table. She's been tailing him and secretly snaps a photo when he looks away. But Robert notices his instincts never fail. He approaches and calmly thanks her for following up on his tip. Collins asked bluntly, "Who are you really? Who do you work for?" Robert simply says, "I'm retired." Collins hints she has enough evidence to arrest him. Robert smiles and shows his skills, perfectly guessing how she tracked him down. Collins stays cool. As she leaves, she warns, "Don't run. We're just getting started." Robert replies calmly, "Same here." As she walks away, Collins calls him McCall, signaling she knows who he really is. Robert simply smiles and says, "Well done." Meanwhile, Marco Quaranta continues stirring trouble. That day, Marco and his gang storm into Officer Gio's home, holding his wife and child hostage. A thug sneaks up and hits Gio from behind. As he falls, Marco kicks him while taunting him for investigating the van involved in the arson attack. Turns out, the mafia has informants inside the police. Before leaving, Marco threatens Gio, warning that his family would suffer if he doesn't back off. Gio later goes to Dr. Enzo's house to treat his wounds. Coincidentally, Robert is there. He asks Enzo what happened to Gio. Enzo says Gio fell, but adds that violence like this is normal in many Italian towns. The Camorra mafia, he says, is like an incurable cancer. The next morning, Robert visits the church and runs into Collins again. She has uncovered that Robert's background is fabricated. Everyone believes he's dead. Collins says Robert isn't a suspect, he's suspicious. She shares intel about Lorenzo Vittel, the vineyard boss. Lorenzo was the mastermind of a shadowy cybercrime ring. Interpol had been after them for a decade. They stole pensions and funded terrorists. They also used the vineyard to smuggle drugs. Robert wants her not to trust Italian police reports entirely, as many officers are on the take. Before parting, Collins asks why he chose her. Robert doesn't answer. Meanwhile, Gio and his family dine out when Marco appears to intimidate Gio into helping the mafia. Beaten and scared, Gio stays quiet. Then Marco notices Robert glaring at him from across the restaurant. Marco walks over and sits at Robert's table. He sneers, "You like meddling, old man?" Robert calmly replies, "I tried to ignore you. You made it impossible." He says he loves this town and feels it's where he belongs. Robert warns Marco, "Don't ruin the peace here." Marco asks, "Are you threatening me?" Robert answers, "Call it fair warning." Marco laughs it off. Robert casually comments on Marco's watch, tricking him into showing his wrist. In a flash, Robert grabs Marco's hand, twists it painfully, and presses a nerve point, forcing Marco to obey. Robert demands he tell his men to leave their weapons and walk out. Marco, humiliated, complies. Everyone in the restaurant stares, wondering who this mysterious stranger is. But Marco isn't finished yet. He orders a gun brought in. Suddenly, a van crashes into the restaurant. The surviving gang members rush to check the crash and find their comrades dead. Robert emerges and finishes off another guard. Then he faces Marco, who wields a knife. But Marco's skills are no match. Robert easily disarms him and forces Marco to stab himself repeatedly. Marco dies in his own van. The Equalizer has returned. The next morning, Pew arrives at the crime scene. They find flower packages in the van. Meanwhile, Collins watches news about a Rome train bombing. Frank, her partner, suspects Syrian terrorists funded by drug money. He urges Collins to return to America, but she wants to stay and investigate further. Collins requests a meeting with Naples Police Chief Barella to seek cooperation. She wants to investigate Vincent's gang. Later, Chief Barella meets with Vincent Coranta privately. He warns him that the CIA is hunting terrorist funding routes across Europe. Barella suggests Vincent should stop all activities immediately. A smart female CIA agent is on the case, and soon she'll realize it's not terrorism, but Vincent's gang behind it. But Vincent is defiant. He orders Barella to fix it, while he'll handle the agent himself. Barella, frustrated, realizes Vincent won't listen. Barella warns him if he doesn't stop, they'll both go down. But Vincent, furious over Marco's death, reminds Barella of his place. Barella snaps back, calling Vincent an animal. Before Barella can leave, Vincent's men grab him. Vincent stabs Barella's hand with a knife, demanding to know who killed his brother. Another thug brutally chops off Barella's hand. Vincent mocks him. "Don't worry, we'll send you to the hospital soon." Barella is now nothing but a broken man. Meanwhile, Collins is informed that Barella had information ready for her. Officers arrange to take her to the hospital. As Collins prepares to leave, she gets a call from Robert. He warns her the train bombing wasn't terrorists, it was the mafia. He urges caution. Just then a car bomb explodes near Collins. Thrown violently, she survives only because Robert's call delayed her from getting in the car. Meanwhile, Vincent plots revenge for Marco's death. That evening, he kidnaps Gio's family and takes them to the site where Marco died. Vincent shouts, demanding the killer show himself. The townspeople start gathering to watch. Vincent fires a warning shot at Gio's ear. He threatens to kill him next if no one steps forward. Furious, he shouts out, "Tell me who killed my brother, or I'll kill your family right here." That's when Robert steps forward saying, "It was me. I warned your brother not to harm these people, but he didn't listen." Vincent growls back, "This isn't your home, American." Robert calmly says it is because the people here showed him what peace feels like. Robert places his gun in front of Vincent. He offers himself in exchange for the town's safety. Just before Vincent can shoot, a gunshot rings out from Dr. Enzo. The locals start recording everything on their phones. Enzo aims his rifle at the mafia thugs, ordering them to release Gio's family. Outnumbered and exposed, Vincent retreats but vows to return and destroy the town. That night, Robert straps his beloved stopwatch back on. The Equalizer is ready for his final mission. He waits until late at night, then infiltrates Vincent's villa, eliminating his men one by one. He disables the surveillance room, leaving no trace behind before throwing a body through the ceiling into Vincent's bedroom. Vincent dodges the body, grabs his gun, and screams for backup only to realize he is utterly alone. Robert knocks him out cold, then force feeds him the drugs he had been trafficking. Vincent pathetically crawls through the streets before dying of an overdose. News breaks. The CIA and Interpol have seized massive amounts of synthetic amphetamines and dismantled the local mafia. They cut off terrorist funding sources and announce Vincent's death. The Chamorro's mafia boss, Robert, visits Collins at her recovery ward. She thanks him for calling that day. Because she paused to answer his call, she survived the bombing. Robert brings a sum of money. He retrieved it from Lorenzo's vineyard. That's the real reason he came to Italy. To retrieve dirty money stolen through cybercrime and hidden at the vineyard. He took only the amount matching what one elderly man should have received from his pension fund. That money had been stolen by cyber thieves. Collins asks, who was he? Why did you go this far for him? Robert answers simply, just a passenger. Collins is puzzled, but if you remember from the Equalizer 2, Robert once drove for Baba and quietly avenged wrongs for innocent people he met. Later, Collins delivers the money to the elderly couple Robert spoke of. Overjoyed, they nearly faked they had been close to losing their home. They wonder why a stranger would do so much for them. Collins simply says, I'm wondering the same thing, back at work. She receives a package of small black notebook from Robert. Inside is a message. Your mother would be proud of you. Collins looks at a photo on her desk, and it's revealed that she is the daughter of Brian and Susan, Robert's close friends. That's why he chose her. Meanwhile, Robert stays at his favorite CAF in Altamonte, watching the townspeople celebrate their football team's victory, laughing, dancing, filled with life. Finally, he joins them dancing, smiling, at peace. This is The Equalizer, the third and final chapter of The Shadowless Avenger. It scored 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 76% rating. Audience score, an impressive 94%. If you love this genre, smash that like. You can watch it now on Netflix, Apple TV. If you enjoyed this recap, like and subscribe to Con Studio, your home for thrilling stories.